And from Abuja, Nigeria's capital, we have a report on the public presentation of a book titled Each Man His Time, the biography of an era, written by a former Minister of Information and Culture and the Yerima of Auchi, Prince Tony Momoh.
Sons and daughters of Auchi in Esako local government area of Edo State at the public presentation of the book titled Each Man His Time, the biography of an era, a book that chronicles the life and times of Chief Momoh Oshiogbele Idaho and how Auchi, under his leadership, became a respected kingdom. In this hall with the Esako people are former and serving lawmakers, the Minister of Science and Technology, Mr. Bonaya Ono, friends and well-wishers of the author of the book, who is one of the sons of Chief Momoh I, Prince Tony Momoh. The book reviewer gives an insight into the book written in 5 chapters with over 300 pages.
Each Man His Time is one of the star outputs of Prince Tony Momoh's rich repertoire of creative, political, and educational books. This book talks about the immensity of the person and character of Chief Momoh I. It also talks about who is the hero of the book. I say here that he dominates the 373-page output. Very few persons share the space with him. It is about Momoh and Momoh and Momoh, the extraordinary deeds that he did. Tony Momoh also tells the story of his extraordinary father with a passion and enthusiasm of a chronicler who is in love with his subject. The book also talks about the story of simple rustic Auchi and how it rose under the able leadership of Momoh I to become a kingdom, respected by other villages and clans, which they started the journey of life almost on the same pedestal.
And more on the Auchi community.
Auchi began its humble existence as a loose federation of independent villages that was came about because the children of Uchi left Udo in Benin Kingdom in the 15th century to relocate to where they are now. I guess there are many young Auchi people who don't know this. It is something you need to know. For me also, one of the interesting things about the life of Momoh I was his organizational ability and his commitment to his people. I wish that our present leaders can learn those things from him. The man was using public works. That idea is very fascinating to me. To develop Auchi, age grades were organized to contribute labor. I was also fascinated by his knowledge. At that time, that people were very fearful of others. Momoh I advocated the accommodation of strangers in Auchi. He told the people that it is only in such accommodation that Auchi will make progress. It is very interesting that today, Auchi is a cosmopolitan town where Nigerians from all regions cohabit in peace, unity, and progress, thanks to Momoh's foresight.
The author, a foremost journalist, lawyer, and essayist, told his audience the motivation behind the piece of work, which was written in 1994, presented but was out of print. It's now updated and redesigned.
97 communities in Nigeria, each one has a story to tell. When we go to school, we don't want to tell the story. There is no community in Nigeria that does not have a background of where they came from, how they grew the community, how they related to other communities, how they lived before colonization came. You know, Jomo Kenyatta said they came, took our land, and gave us the Bible. It's good. The Bible has drawn us closer to Christ. The Quran has drawn us closer to Allah. But how honest are we as Christians? How honest are we as Muslims? When you have more churches on earth today than any other time in history, more mosques on earth than any other time in history, more Muslims on earth than any other time in history, more Christians on earth than any other time in history, and more evil on earth than any other time in history. Can we revisit what is wrong? Why is it that we wear the toga of religion when there's peace. When there's war, we run back to the oracle. Why? These areas are the areas you must not be afraid to tell the world where you are coming from. So all those are in this book. Though this book, Tony Momoh, Momoh the First, is only a metaphor to address families, to address family organization, and we always claim, modestly, sister, that our family is the biggest organized family in the world. And nobody has ever denied it. Our father had about 40-something wives, 250 children. I'm number 165. But did he have concubines? And there were never any divorce. So these are areas that people should really learn by reading what is there, and we find out what is missing.
Perhaps one of the reasons for the presentation of the book at this time is also to celebrate Prince and Mrs. Tony Momoh's wedding anniversary.
We know what is happening to marriages today, divorces, separation, and this great man has been able to live together with this beautiful woman for 47 years. I think it calls for celebration, and we are so proud of them. They are models for young Nigerians, for those who want to get married. I will now be telling them, please behave like Prince and Mrs. Tony Momoh.
Tony has made us proud. He has made us proud. The family, the community, that is the entire kingdom, our kingdom, Esako as a whole, the three Esakos, not to talk of Edo State, then the federal.
Drawing from the content of the book, guests at the event agree that there is the need for a return of history as a subject into Nigerian school curriculum.
It's a book that will give bearing to the people, give bearing to our people, and they will know that they have a root and a history which they must cherish.
It is very important, particularly these days, that history is no longer in our curriculum, which many well-meaning Nigerians are asking should be returned. Because when we do not know a thing about our background, then the moral values that we are expected to imbibe growing up become very difficult to enforce.
So, which part of the book is outstanding for the author?
Every part of this book is my favorite part. But the fact is, there are lots of chapters. For instance, you have Islamization of Auchi. When my father sent a malams between 1921 and 1926 to all the surrounding villages in Auchi Kingdom. They were going to teach, and the native doctors there were always fighting, not agreeing that their idols should be destroyed. It's a very interesting chapter where a favorite, one of the most powerful age groups in the history of Auchi, they call them Umairege, the Shakers of town. They were trained between 1908 and 1917, and they had powers of teleportation. They could disappear and appear anywhere. Each one has a secret room. So that chapter, the Umairege, is the training of 408 young people in Auchi. Every age group Auchi has a name. This was Umairege. When I was doing the research, there were only 3 of them alive. And there's a young gentleman, retired colonel, who has a secret room that his grandfather left for him. He was a military man, very bold military man, but he's been afraid to enter that room. He doesn't know what's in that room. And when we reviewed this book, we asked him some questions, and he gave answers. This book is someone that every person in the black skin, every person in black skin, all Nigerians, the black race, the Africans, Americans, when you read this book, something will touch you, inner being, it will touch you, and then you can associate with it and also write your own bit. That's the Umairege story.
From researching, writing, and a career that has spanned over 6 decades, Prince Tony Momoh has a volume of printed materials in his kitty and these include pamphlets, open letters, and other literature on politics and nation building.
I hope you have enjoyed today's show. Please send us your comments and feedback on any of our social media platforms displayed on your screen. I am Olakunle Kasumo. Remember, one great book can change your life. Bye-bye.